Hello, friends. So I'm here today to talk about Breastfeeding Friendly San Diego, and I'm going to share my screen with you so that I can bring you my presentation. So I'm talking today about Breastfeeding Friendly San Diego because this was an organization that impacted my life. When I went back to work, my director started going through the program to sort of develop a better policy for how to support breastfeeding moms and working teachers also. So that is part of what BFSD does. And they believe that by supporting breastfeeding mothers and infants, you can support an entire community, which I believe is true because I think that I was a better teacher having the time and the space and the support to pump and breastfeed and be able to make my needs clear and make them met and not feel like a burden for doing that. So they're saying their logo is pro lactancia, which is for lactation. And they developed this program, this offshoot of UCSD community health centers, because they noticed a gap in services. So websites like this can tell you if your pediatrician is pro-lactation, but the search for childcare centers that are breastfeeding friendly, there really wasn't a way to do that. I'm sure every childcare center, if you ask them, would say yes, but what does that really mean? And so this organization did a good job of sort of standardizing what that really means. And so they have this searchable way to find. So let's see, I'm near 92126-ish. So I'll click 92122, and there's a couple in my area. Here's one, family home daycare that is breastfeeding friendly. So, and this is pretty close to me too. So yeah, you can find, if you're in San Diego, a breastfeeding friendly childcare provider, which I think is probably their most valuable service. Why I put it right in front. And these are some statements from their website and a statement about their funding. So first five funding, the HHSA through the county is providing UCSD the funds to do this. But their funding is ending in 2020. So this is their last year. And that's another reason why I wanted to share this with you so that we can advocate to keep it going. I think it's really valuable. My friend Tweed, though, is a graduate student at UCSD, and she interned here. Let me move my little face so you can see better. She's interning as a piece of her master's degree in public health, and she wrote a little reflection that's also on the UCSD School of Medicine Community Health News. And we can find a little blurb about her, a little reflection about her internship, and then two resources that she created for the Vietnamese population talking about breastfeeding for parent and teacher education. So she could share that with her community. And this is her voice on a video that's on the homepage of BFSD.
Breastfeeding Friendly San Diego. The Breastfeeding Friendly San Diego program, or BFSD, is a recognition program for childcare providers who support and promote breastfeeding friendly practices. BFSD is a free self-paced online program offered in both English and Spanish. Many new parents return to work or school within the first 3 months of their child's life and often stop breastfeeding due to concerns about pumping out work or school and placing their baby in childcare. By offering support, childcare providers can play an important role in helping families meet their breastfeeding goals. Research shows that breastfeeding has mutual health benefits. Babies who are breastfed have fewer ear infections and lower risk of childhood obesity, while parents who breastfeed have a lower risk of type 2 diabetes and certain types of cancers, such as breast and ovarian. The BFSD program equips childcare providers with the skills, knowledge, and resources to support their breastfeeding families and employees. The program offers free online training, educational resources, and recognition. The process to becoming recognized is simple. Implement the building blocks to breastfeeding-friendly childcare by using the online resources. Then complete an online self-nomination form on the San Diego County Breastfeeding Coalition's website. Start by visiting the Breastfeeding Friendly San Diego website to review the building blocks to breastfeeding friendly childcare and download the supporting resources. The first building block is to create a breastfeeding friendly environment by encouraging families to breastfeed on site and provide a comfortable, non-restroom space for breastfeeding and or pumping. The second building block is to train employees on breastfeeding-friendly practices. Employees can complete the online training, offered in English and Spanish, or attend an in-person training. To start the online training, visit the training course webpage. Click on Start the Course, and create a username and password to log in. When finished with the training modules, you'll receive a certificate of completion. The third building block is to implement what you learned in the training about proper storage, handling, and feeding of breast milk. The fourth building block is to establish and communicate a written policy for supporting both families and employees. Sample policies are available for download. The fifth and final building block is to offer breastfeeding resources for both families and employees. Resources are available for download. Once you implement all of the building blocks to breastfeeding-friendly childcare, you are ready to become a recognized BFSD childcare partner. Follow these easy steps to become recognized. First, visit the San Diego County Breastfeeding Coalition website and select the BFSD self-nomination form. Next, fill out information about your childcare site on the Breastfeeding-Friendly San Diego Childcare Provider Nomination Form. Then complete the nomination form by uploading a photo of your breastfeeding space, training certificate, breastfeeding policy, and the infant feeding plans you intend to use. Finally, submit your nomination. The San Diego County Breastfeeding Coalition will contact you to confirm your nomination and recognition. Once you receive the BFSD recognition, your child care's information will be placed on the San Diego County Breastfeeding Coalition's website, where parents can find breastfeeding-friendly child care providers. To learn more about Breastfeeding Friendly San Diego, please visit our website.
So that was Tweedo, and she was recording her voice onto the homepage of BFSD, which partners with the San Diego County Breastfeeding Coalition, and they go in to create these lactation supportive environments. And this might include creating a little comfy corner, or placing a curtain along a doorway, or putting a door where, or lock on the door, just creating those environments that make the mom and feel safe so that she can calm down. And when her heart rate goes down and she feels comfortable and she's at ease, the baby can be more at ease and can eat freely and not be distracted. It's a huge problem when you're trying to feed your baby and people are walking around. That baby does not want to eat. Usually they want to be looking around no matter how hungry they are. Too curious. So This is how it leads to increased well-being in mothers, infants, families, and communities. We can see really clearly that piece of once the mom and baby are supported, once that family feels supported, then that mom can feel empowered in her work, can feel that she is safe to leave her baby there and that they are supporting her on her journey. And that was just a little bit about the San Diego Breastfeeding Coalition. This is actually where people will go to apply for the self-nomination. So that's how they partner there. And then the logo is placed on the family daycare or the child care center, and they're placed on the list, searchable list that I showed you. So the reason why we need these lactation supportive environments is because of the wealth of knowledge that we have started to uncover in the new research about breast milk. And there's some really exciting stuff coming out, and it's just in the last few years that we really have gotten just since early 2000s that we've really gotten a sense of the composition of breast milk. And that we've discovered it varies based on a multitude of factors, but that it has really important micronutrient and immune supportive effects in the baby's body. And I just really liked this quote. I think it's so true that we put so much research into things that adults are concerned about, but we as adults should be more concerned about what's going into our babies' bodies. And breast milk is amazing us at every turn. And here's a link to some research on that. And this documentary down here that I cited, which is where this quote comes from here, is wonderful. This Babies series on Netflix. Just a little blurb. So, one of the things that is particularly stressful for new parents who are looking for daycares is, how do I figure out when a daycare is supportive of lactation? So this little survey, there's some like benefits of breast milk here on this parent flyer, and this is really a valuable checklist. So when you're looking as a parent for a center that might be breastfeeding friendly, what does that mean? So these are some questions that you might ask the center, and these are the questions that Breastfeeding Friendly San Diego helps centers to answer. So on both sides, on the parent side supporting and on the child care center side supporting, we have breastfeeding education going on, and we have a communication going on between what do parents need, what are my needs, I didn't even know what they were until I had them, and then how can we meet those needs? And as childcare providers, we can anticipate what those needs might be: comfort, safety, guaranteed time. So breastfeeding, this is just a little bit of the new research that has been blowing my mind. It becomes the preferred method of soothing between mom and baby, which I experienced, because there is an increase in skin-to-skin time. And with that skin-to-skin time, moms, dads, anybody who's doing primary caregiving, if you're doing those baby snuggles, your hormones are actually wiring to match the baby's. And so it's increasing your serotonin and your dopamine, making you happy to hold that baby and care for them. Caregivers, this happens too, but that skin to skin with mom and baby, that's why that breastfeeding is so powerful. And then the composition of the milk also. And we've recently discovered gender affects composition and amount of milk produced. So calcium and zinc are higher in girls, and the amount of breast milk is also higher. And the fat content is higher, where the protein content is higher for boys. And it's interesting because it means that bones for girls are done growing earlier, and muscles for boys end up being larger, just because of the way that mother's milk is produced based on gender. And we still sort of don't know why that is, but we just know that it is, which is exciting. Next step. And then really important, more common knowledge in the past few years, but the mother's immune system actually upregulates those antibodies and passes them on to the child. So especially now, in this health awareness moment, we want to really encourage that. So this research is all also from the latest episodes of the Babies documentary, 2020, check it out. But those questions that BFSD gives us give us a place to start. So this is the type of training that childcare center staff may receive. We might have some facts like we had on the previous page, and then we'll have some statistics here. So like when you're breastfeeding, the mortality rates for infants across the board, no matter the cause, is lower, which is really super fascinating. And then parent resources are also abundant on the website here again, but this downloadable PDF, which is only one of the many that are offered on their website, is really valuable. This is the first step of their building blocks here, and it's setting up that breastfeeding friendly space. And we saw this a little bit on the video presentation by Twee, but it sort of just gives you an idea of what might be good to include in that space and what makes it breastfeeding friendly. Yes. In English and Spanish, and all of the materials are on the website, English and Spanish. So I think that's fantastic. And then Twee has also added her Vietnamese resources. So putting all the pieces together, parents and caregivers partner. Really big is communication. Communicating to one another about what are the needs and how can we modify the environment to support that. Becoming educated about breast milk and best practices for lactation, like upright paced feeding. Working to be consistently improving and promoting positive awareness of breastfeeding and its many benefits in many languages, in many settings. And one of the goals of the Breastfeeding Coalition for San Diego County is that breastfeeding will become normalized in public spaces, and that is my goal as well. So this is my story about Lincoln, and he's way younger here than when I went back to work, but I had to just include like this little milk drunk face, and the fact that he's signing I love you is just the sweetest to me. But this is my personal journey. So when I went back to work as a preschool teacher, I got pretty overwhelmed because I was trying to juggle pumping, breastfeeding, lugging milk back and forth. I felt like I was being a burden because I was asking for more time on my breaks and space, privacy, and time with my baby. But I was delighted because my director supported me in every way that I could imagine, and she did some digging to find this agency. They came in and Breastfeeding Coalition of San Diego, and we began the process to be one of the partners. So that was a really proud moment to me that I could share also with the other breastfeeding moms, like, oh, you know, don't worry about asking for this time, or don't worry about coming in as many times in the day as you need to, because a lot of the moms work right there but just felt like they couldn't come in because they would be interrupting their baby's schedule. And So it was a really great conversation starter, because a lot of parents, I don't think, even know that they have the right to ask for those things and to not be treated like a burden. So, in conclusion, these are the building blocks here. 5 of them. First, breastfeeding supportive environments. Second, employee training to support breastfeeding. Third, proper storage, which everybody should be doing anyway, but just having those labels of we follow this guideline really gives that comfort to parents who are coming in and may not get a chance to talk to you, but can see you have a little visual of when breast milk is good. You're not going to throw out their milk if it's still good, and you're not going to feed their baby improperly kept milk. So it just gives them that comfort to see that you have thought about that already. And then, so that goes along with adopting those written policies. It makes it such a proud moment for me. I can't stress that enough. Like it really does make it that you are proud of working there, you're proud of taking your child there, and word of mouth can spread so easily when you take a small step like this. And then little resources like a bulletin board about nursing, or flyers, or you know, these resources that UCSD has that the Community Health Center provides for free. You can download and print them, and they are super easy visuals. And this is just a little story about one of the many childcare providers that got certified. And her little blurb on the website basically said she feels it's enabled her to take a different perspective on how to be compassionate to mothers, and has offered new ideas on how to support parents. So this is Little Hands Big Smiles preschool, and Ms. Jessica Orozco got certified there. And these are my resources here. So all of the websites that I outlined, you can find there. And go back and review, make sure we didn't miss anything. There we are. All right, thank you for listening to my presentation today, and I hope that you go on their website and also pick out some free resources that you can put in your daycare center or in your classroom to make it more breastfeeding friendly. And advocate, write your congressperson about extending their funding, because they're doing some really great work over there. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.